All right, so looks like we are back up and running. Run this through a new stream key. Everything's all hunky-dory for the time being, but again, we stream the IROC Challenge Series a little bit differently. We run it through Restream. Everything else we broadcast here on HBR TV, it is strictly through YouTube only. It's the only time I've really had issues with drop-in streams is to multi-platform streaming, but nonetheless, looks like we've got her back up and running, so it may be on a different feed, so hopefully you guys can get that figured out, trying to see this again. But our apologies. The race continues. Both McCanns at the front of the field. Brian McCann in the 3, Kevin McCann in the 33, and as we saw, well, only I saw it, I was recording it, Brian McCann already starting to lift out of the throttle and into the clutch, into the corners, trying to save whatever fuel he possibly can. Again, just a recap here on the start, we did have two drivers have an issue. It was the 4 and the 16 spinning right at the start. Jaden Hopp and Michael McDonald, it appears to be. In fact, we'll go back to it here in just a minute. Again, Hopp running currently back in the 23rd spot, but let's check the green flag one more time. We'll watch the start. This is what we had at the initial beginning of the race. I don't know if he just lost the rear end, got on the throttle too hard, but he spins across the field into the 4. The 4 takes some right front damage, and everybody else running away. Caution does not come out for this. But there you have it. Brian McCann still maintains the top spot. Aaron Smith has slipped back to P4. I'd be curious to see if he's just aggressively saving fuel. Again, Smith usually very quick just about everywhere we go. Ovals, road courses, doesn't seem to matter. Let's ride on board and listen. And there you see it, even on the tack, it drops down to idle speed, about 2,000 RPM. He lets the clutch back out, 7,500 RPM. That's mid-corner. Back to the power, 8,500. 9,000 RPM, 9,100 RPM, and he gets on the clutch once again. Again, saving fuel the best that he can while maintaining pace. Started second, running in the 4th position is Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith maintaining that 4th position, but maybe not for long. The 32 with Johnston on the attack. Maybe he's just not saving fuel. Hard to say exactly. It's almost comical. You listen to these cars fly by in the speed shot and got that loud 9,200 RPM engine underneath the hood of these Gen 4 Cup cars, and all of a sudden it just disappears because they're on the clutch and just coasting at least to the corner entry to the apex. You let the clutch back out, pick up the throttle once again. But these guys are trying to stretch the fuel as far as they possibly can here at Atlanta. Interestingly enough, though, even with fuel save, you're still going to take care of the tires at the same time. Kind of a win-win. Again, guys, we've got a new stream up here. If anyone's able to start sharing this to other platforms and such, because it is certainly not the one that we shared early on. Much appreciated. We had a technical difficulty at the very start. As soon as the first two cars, the 16 and the 4, started spinning into the infield, we lost the stream. But we're back up and running, at least for the time being. Hopefully things stay cleaned up. Everything looks good for now on my end. Cook Quick running back in P13, just ahead of the 31 of Rick Kelly. Leader still the 3 of Brian McCann. Brother Kevin in second. Kevin just celebrated a birthday here a day or so ago. Let's go on board with the 33 of Kevin McCann as Aaron Smith still now up into the 3rd position. Almost seems like he's putting the attack on. You know, let's ride around with Aaron Smith. Still saving fuel. We'll see if while he saves fuel, he can make the pass on Kevin McCann. He does gain some ground through the mid portion of the corner. Looks like Aaron Smith has just taken over that 2nd spot, not quite clear of Kevin McCann as he works through the corner, slides up the racetrack out of 4. Aaron Smith back to P2 where he started, and again, you guys can hear it likely in the stream. All of a sudden, the engine's just cut out in the middle of the corner. These guys are doing all they can to save as much fuel as possible. Again, a 65% fuel load compared to what they're usually given or what they can hold. It's almost like these cars are going into hybrid mode in the middle of the corner, but Aaron Smith, even with that fuel save, he's able to roll the center nicely. He's closed the gap to Brian McCann considerably. It's a car length, maybe, car length and a half back to 2nd place. Smith again driving to the bottom here, gets alongside. We'll see if he gets the power down and can go around. Side by side, drag race down the back straightaway. Into turn number 3, Smith goes to the bottom. Both drivers out of the gas. What a weird sound. Or lack thereof for that matter. You're not hearing much, just a little bit of air noise. Some tires screeching on the pavement. This battle is still continuing for the top spot. Aaron Smith, Brian McCann. Again, McCann started the race P1, drove away for a little while, but now that we're in fuel and tire conservation mode, Smith goes to the point. McCann battling back on the high side, just coasting through these corners. It's incredible how these drivers are making this work. Looking back at Brian McCann now in the 2nd spot. Kevin McCann back in the 3rd position, losing track of those top 2, starting to get smaller and smaller out the front windshield of the 33. Garrett Johnson, who was up there for a while as well. He's all by his lonesome. Evan Konop in the 5th position. He's got some company behind him. At least some racing to be had here if the 82 of Stan Carnathan can close the gap, put some pressure on Evan Konop. Again, it really is a race against the racetrack, a race against fuel. It's so tempting as a racing driver to try and race the guy that's in front or behind you. Place like this that you really must race the racetrack. You got a guy closing down on you, he's got the pace, just let him go. Take care of your stuff, save the tires for when it's really time to go. 30 laps in of this 120 lap race, certainly not the time to hit the go button. Josh Funkhauser, in the meantime, he's going to come to pit lane. Funkhauser in the number 81. Comes to the attention of his crew, a little deep in the box, but not too far.
Caution.
And the caution is out.
What do you got for temps, sir?
Not sure what has triggered this. First caution of the night, 31 laps on the board. Don't see any trouble on the track. Now, I've got to be honest, there's a possibility that they're running stages in this series. I haven't seen any indication of that within their Discord and such, but that could be the case. I know many series do run stage breaks, just like the NASCAR Cup Series and the like. Given that they're running the Gen 4, it's kind of undetermined. I haven't seen anything about it, but we'll have to clarify that for you guys for next week. Again, next week we go out to the Old Lady in Black at Darlington. That should be a fun one. Couple of drivers in the pits, Rick Kelly, Trevor Quick. Not sure if this is just scheduled stops or if they're just saying, I got to come now. Versus the guys out front, Aaron Smith coming down pit lane right now. A lot of the drivers were saving fuel very well early on in this race. We saw it as early as lap 9 out of Brian McCann. Aaron Smith able to save fuel while making the pass on Brian McCann. Certainly very impressive of the 70. And as crazy as it sounds, 33 laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway under the green flag and nobody's taking tires. And I say nobody. There might be a couple that have opted, but again, they've only got 2 change sets over the wall, so they're really going to need to take care of their stuff here throughout this next run. Aaron Smith first out of the pits. We're going to jump out and get a break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, we were getting ready to go back to the green flag here. They've added one more lap before we go back to green flag racing. Aaron Smith going to be your leader. Brian McCann restarts second. Kevin McCann third. Garrett Johnson fourth. And Jason Niles just starting fifth. Again, if you're just joining us trying to go back to the start, we had some technical difficulties right as the green flag drops. Able to get the stream back up and running. But we're going to continue to record as well, just in case we lose the rest of this for some strange reason. So here we go, formed up 2 by 2 once again. Pace car lights are off, and the iRacing pace car about to take the hard left down pit lane. Waiting for Barney, the flagman, to wave the green. They're in the restart zone. Green flag waves. We're back racing from Atlanta. Aaron Smith leads them back to the stripe. Meanwhile, Brian McCann in the second spot. He's got pressure coming, and that's from the 33 of Kevin McCann. As Aaron Smith, we hear it already down into turns 1 and 2. Off throttle, into the clutch, saving fuel once again. To the inside, Kevin McCann taking a peek to the inside of Brian McCann down the backstretch. He's going to take another look here into turn number 3. McCann saving fuel for sure. Kevin goes along by into the second spot. Brian McCann now back to P3. Jason Niles just going to take advantage. He takes the third spot into turn number 1, and the 4 starting to close the gap as well. Remember, 4, Jaden Hopp was the one that spun with the 16. The 16 got on the throttle, spun the tires, and came in right front fender of the 4. Niles just in the 88 machine, top side, on a turn number 4. Now I've got to wonder here, again, Jaden Hopp, his pit stop was about 20 seconds, 20.5 seconds, and he works his way into the second spot. I just have to wonder if he either accidentally or opted to take fresh tires. To the point he goes, down the backstretch into turn number 3. Lap 40 goes up on the board, and Hopp to the point. Just like that. He started 5th, so he's got some pace. Just got unlucky on the initial start. Little wiggle out of 4. Gathers it back up into the dog leg, and he's going to set sail here. He's not saving fuel. He's just getting and going. Don't know if that's going to be the right strategy call here for the rest of this race, as some drivers like Smith and both McCanns saving fuel already. Ryan Honeycutt running back in the 9th position. That's where he started today, just taking it easy. Again, it is still relatively early here at Atlanta. Oh, real loose out of turn number 2, and 31 got in behind. That's Rick Kelly. Might have taken some air off the rear spoiler of the 18. Honeycutt gets down to the bottom once again. See how he gets out of turn 4. Neil Quick running in the number 2 machine. He's back in the 11th spot. Lost a couple of positions from the start of this race, but again, as we said, it is early on. Just Neil taking care of his stuff. I've seen Neil many races in other different leagues as well. He's really good at saving tires and saving his stuff till it's time to go. He's very often right there in the battle at the end. We'll see if that holds true here at the end of this race. Plenty of racing still to go. 44 laps in of 120. Chris Wally up into the 12th position. I don't say up into it, that's where he started today. Chris Wally, actually a NASCAR official on a part-time basis, just coming back from Road America recently. Doug Wysocki running in the 18th spot. He's up 6 positions so far, marching slowly but surely towards the front. Doug in his familiar number 34. Colors are the same as well. Checking out our race leader, Jaden Hopp, has stretched it out to 5.38 seconds over Aaron Smith. Again, I think that's really going to come down to the difference between tires and no tires. That will equal out later on in the run, because the guys that are not able to keep up with Hopp right now, they are on the original set. They've still got 2 change sets over the wall, so that's going to pick up their pace later on. I would imagine the next round of pit stops, you will see those that didn't take tires the last pit stop. They'll take them this time. 6 seconds to lead, though. Hopp is just stretching it out more and more every single lap. Back just outside inside the top 10. Rick Kelly and Cook Quick. Kelly in the 31, Cook in the 23. Running in the 8th position. He's up 13 spots. Not sure if he took tires on his pit stop or not. It was a 13.5 second stop. If it was 4 tires, it was lightning fast. Cook Quick, however, his 15.3 second stop indicates it could be 4 tires. Looking at those up front that we know didn't take tires, it was Aaron Smith. It was a 12.3 second stop for him. Trying to check on Brian McCann, but I don't see where he has fallen to. He's back actually in the 11th position. His pit stop, 12.22 seconds. He also did not take tires. Just a matter of staying on the lead lap here until it's time to come to pit road once again. Then he'll bolt on 4 freshies, get back out there and start tearing it up. Lost a lot of track position to Aaron Smith, though. Sits currently about 10.4 seconds back from the race leader, the 4 of Jaden Hopp. Evan Konop running in the 7th position in the number 63 machine, all by himself for now. John Osborne about 3 car lengths off the back bumper, but Osborne's got Rick Kelly and Brian McCann in his rearview mirror. Honestly, Kelly's got Kevin McCann right alongside. He can look out that window net and see that blue and white number 3. McCann still not quite clear of the 31. Neil Quick closing in as well. On board with Neil Quick. Big run out of 2. Gets alongside. Great run for Neil Quick. He's got his foot down. right to the wood here, going down into turn number 3, gets alongside Brian McCann. I don't know if he's got enough to drive out of 4, take the spot. Quick's pit stop was only 5 seconds. That might have been a follow-up pit stop when we went that extra lap at green, so he doesn't need to worry about fuel savings. Quick goes topside. McCann maintains the spot. He's putting the pressure on John Osborne. Another good run out of turn number 2 for Neal. He's going to look to the inside of McCann. Drives it deep into 3. McCann still to the outside. Brian's going to try and battle back here, see what he can get, if anything. Nope, not going to do it. Tucks in behind. Quick goes topside here. Little arrow push for the 2 in behind John Osborne, but he's going to build another good run here on a turn 2. We've watched it 2 laps in a row. Here it is, 3 laps in a row. Gets the run alongside into turn 3 once again. Quick marching to the front. Honeycutt throws the block, I think. I'm not sure if it was a block or not, but man, it sure looked like it. Honeycutt goes up to the top after almost contact. There may have been contact between the 18 and the 2 of Quick. Neal still alongside Honeycutt through the dog leg, battling for that position. This would be for 7th if Quick can get it. Honeycutt way up the racetrack, might have put the right side in the fence. Neal takes the spot. Jaden Hopp now out to almost 11 seconds the advantage. But look who's up into the 2nd spot. It's Cook Quick. Again, we talked about him likely also taking tires. His pit stop at lap 31. And a little interesting note here with our race leader, Jaden Hopp. Again, his pit stop, it took a while, 20.52 seconds. Had some time to get some damage repaired from that initial contact at the start, and he still was able to drive through this field with ease. Cook Quick, no pressure out the back. Aaron Smith in 3rd, also no pressure. Kevin McCann, same story. Neal Quick, though, still on the move, putting the pressure on Evan Konop. Riding that Larson line way up top through turns 1 and 2. He's got the ability to burn so much, get so much of a run out of turn number 2. Makes short work of the 63. Move Neal Quick up into 6th. Seems like Brian McCann has got a lead blocker here, though. He's following Neal through all this. Neal doing a great job running that high line, builds a big run. Neal about a car's width lower through 3 and 4 than he would be in 1 and 2. Lap 61 on the board, officially past halfway. We're going to go HBR TV side by side. Stay with us. You won't miss a moment of the action. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, green flag pit stops underway here, lap 65. Neil Quick is in. Aaron Smith now coming down the pit lane as well as the race leader. This will be the one that we want to watch to see what the 70 does as far as his strategy is concerned. Does he risk it and go fuel only? It's going to be hard to say. John Osborne takes over the top spot. Aaron into the pit box. Right side's in the air. Brian McCann also in. It's going to be 4 tires and Sunoco Racing fuel for Aaron Smith. Same story, it looks like, for Brian McCann. Smith down and away. And John Osborne, your race leader, but he slides it into the pits. Aggressive hard left turn off the banking in 4. Tim Schofield close behind. Smith back to the dog leg here. We'll see where he cycles back through. So with that pit stop, just about everybody that opted to save some tires the first time by took tires this time, now on their final set. One more set remains over the wall. Again, they're going to need to go. Let's see, Aaron Smith came down at lap 65, so I would expect him, I don't know, at lap 95. These guys are better at it than me as far as the strategy goes, but at lap 95, if you're going to come down to pit lane and get your service work done, I would say you're going to take tires on that final stop. You can't leave a set over the wall, especially in a place like Atlanta Motor Speedway. It just chews up tires so bad. You lose so much speed. We saw it with the 4 of Hobb. He continues to lead this race by about 10.5 seconds. He's completed his pit work, so he's kind of made it work, but it may come back to haunt him the next time by. Hop's pit stop this time 12.53, so he's still going to have a set of tires on the final stop, along with the drivers that are in behind closing down. You see how quick Smith has closed it down in 9.5 seconds now. Lap 70 goes on the board. Race clicking by in a hurry. Again, only one caution to speak of thus far. We had one incident. That was, can't even really say lap 1. It was about 100 feet into the first lap. It's the 16 and the 4, Mike McDonald, and the 4 of Hop, who ironically leads this race, coming together. McDonald got a little bit of wheel spin on the initial start, punched the throttle a little too hard. Maybe thought it was still an ARCA car, I don't know, but Gen 4 Cup cars, it's the ARCA body, but a whole lot more power. Checking on Brian McCann, running back in the 4th position. Aaron Smith putting Matt Kopp a lap down here, or continuing to lap the 22. Hop already put the 22 a lap down. Then you've got the 14 of Kyle Pendergraph in behind. He's a lap down as well. Looking at last lap times, Jaden Hop, your race leader, he's shed a lot of that gap back to P2. It's just above 5 seconds the gap to Aaron Smith, but Hop's last lap, a 32.99, almost 33 seconds, while Aaron Smith running a 31.69. Almost a second and a half a lap faster, so it won't be long before Aaron Smith starts to close the gap on race leader Jaden Hop. Again, it's 4.4 seconds now as the 16 of McDonald is up the racetrack. He's gone another lap down. And you hear it once again, Aaron Smith out of the throttle, into the clutch. Back to fuel conservation mode. Trying to stretch out this run late as possible to maximize the tire life when he does come down pit road. Getting closer and closer. Smith running 1.5 seconds off the race lead here, lap 76. It won't be long, another lap, maybe 2. Seven-tenths of a second now down into turn number 3. Smith, we saw it earlier on in the race, able to gain a ton of ground in the mid-portion, the apex section of the corners, and on throttle. Again, fresher tires for the 70. He's right there. Going to take a look into turn number 1. He'll probably have it on the exit. He does. Hop goes to the high side. Aaron Smith goes to the point. Out of turn number 2, Aaron Smith back to the lead. .78 laps in. Let's take a look at it. Aaron Smith, your race leader, running in second. It's Kevin McCann. McCann started in third, up 1 spot. Got Got to try and find a solution to the riddle that's Aaron Smith. Brian McCann running in the third spot. Started pole tonight. Had the pace early on, but it seems in fuel safe mode. Aaron Smith's got his number. See if that changes. Ryan Honeycutt now just getting up into the fourth position, the number 18 machine. Thought he had a win in hand out at Daytona last week. It wasn't meant to be. Garrett Johnston running fifth, started in P7. And then Jaden Hawk, trying to play some opposite strategy here. We've heard Larry Mack say it so many times, if you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader. Tried to do something a little bit different. He got out front for a little while, led some laps. We'll see if this pays off come the end of this race, as we're just about 40 and a half laps away from that checkered flag. Neil Quick up in the 7th position. He's having a solid run here, up 6 positions. And Stan Carnathan, a number 82 machine. Started 10th, running 8th. Chris Wally, the number 51, he runs in the 9th spot. John Osborne runs in the 10th position. Timmy Schofield runs in the 11th spot. Jason Nile just running 12th. Rick Kelly 13th. But for how long? Jeff Noe working to the outside. He's going to try and steal the spot, and he does. So move Noe up into 13th. Rick Kelly back to 14th. Adam Johnson, a little bit of right front damage on the 0-2. He's running in the 15th position. Trevor Quick runs 16th. And he is the last car on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down. It's the 23 of Cook Quick. It's back out front. Aaron Smith maintaining just about a full second advantage over the 33 of Kevin McCann as he closes in on the number 5 machine of Trevor Quick. Going to put him a lap down. That will put Trevor in the lucky dog position if we were to get a caution once Aaron makes the pass. Ooh, almost some contact. I don't know if the 5 was trying to just let him go, but he checked up. It seemed to be a little bit early. Smith almost getting into the back of the 5. Takes evasive action, gets on by. Lap 84 goes up on the board. Kevin and Brian McCann nose to tail here, about a car length and a half between the two of them. This is second and third as they run. Stan Carnathan, top sign, up into the 6th position. Neil Quick running 7th. Kyle Pendergraft, number 14, not a position. He's not on the lead lap currently, so Quick's got to make short work of the 14 and close down on Carnathan. See if he can get a position out of that. Carnathan's got about 6/10 on Neil Quick. Looks like Ryan Honeycutt a little loose there in the dog leg and also a little right side damage. I'm not sure when that presented itself, but it seems somewhat recent. Meanwhile, Chris Wally's going to hit pit lane here. Wally believing that he's within the pit window to make it to the finish. We'll see if the 51 takes 4 tires or not. A little short of the box, stops a little shy. Is it fuel only? It is. So Chris Wally going to take fuel only here. Looks to be his final stop of the afternoon, unless he's just banking on hopefully getting that caution late. That would give him an opportunity to bolt that final set on, but it's certainly a gamble for Chris Wally. Aaron Smith still with just over 1 second on Kevin McCann. Brian McCann has lost a little bit of ground on his brother. He's about 5-6 car lengths off the back bumper. Stan Carnathan and Ryan Honeycutt doing some battle here. Carnathan on the bottom, Honeycutt way up the racetrack, just inches off that safer barrier, manages to pull it back down and keep it out of the wall. This time, again, the right side showing some damage from a prior run-in with that outside wall. Now Aaron Smith closing in on some lap traffic. Pit stops coming soon here. Leaders made their stops at lap 65. Kevin McCann 64, Brian McCann 65, then Garrett Johnson 64, Carnathan 65, Honeycutt 63. Seeing roughly 30 to 35 laps the window here. We'll see what happens in the coming laps, see who peels off for their final stop of the day, if it happens under green flag conditions, which the way this race is going so far, it seems that might be the case. Still Aaron Smith clutching it into the corners, saving every drop of fuel he can. Still curious though if these guys are going to take the opportunity for tires under green flag conditions for that added pace that they will have with better grip underneath those machines, or will they just go with the less time in the pits? But man, the time it takes to put fuel in these things, you're looking probably a 12-second stop as it is. You bolt the tires on now, you're going to add a couple of seconds, but you're going to have probably 2 seconds better pace than what you have currently. With that said, Honeycutt and Quick, they're down pit lane here. Let's see what these guys do. This might be a good indication as the strategy the leaders employ. Said Quick, we said it early on, real good at tire conservation and tire strategy races. We'll see what he does here. Right side's in the air. Okay, so that's a start. Meanwhile, Kevin and Brian McCann peel off and hit pit lane as well. 4 tires and fuel for Neil Quick. Let's see what Kevin and Brian McCann do as Aaron Smith stays on the racetrack. Oh, Kevin goes a little deep, has to back it up. That's going to cost him a ton of track position. Brian McCann, he's got the right sides in the air. Crew goes around to the left sides for Brian. 4 tires and fuel for the McCann brothers. They're down and away. Brian gets out a little bit sooner, just given the mistake from Kevin McCann going a little bit deep in the box. We check in on Aaron Smith. He stays on the racetrack. He's going to run this thing as dry as he can as far as the fuel is concerned. He's been saving. This way he can maximize the tire life at the end of this final run. Here he comes, coming down pit road. Hard left turn off the banking in turn 4, hits pit road speed. The money stop with 25 laps to go here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Smith, perfect entry into the pits. Right sides, of course, in the air. Let's see if he gambles. I don't think he's gonna. It's gonna be 4-tire call here, I think. Indeed it is. 4 tires. Sunoco Racing Fuel drops the jack. He's down and away. Good stop for Aaron Smith. 14.58 seconds for the 70 with 25 laps to go. Adam Johnson just now takes over the top spot. yet he still needs to make a pit stop. Aaron Smith will inherit the lead here in just a moment or two when the 0-2 comes down pit lane. Johnson's last stop here was at lap 67. He crosses the stripe here, 24 to go. I would expect him here in the next lap or two. Johnson slips back to the third spot. Aaron Smith takes over the lead here as Johnson comes down pit lane for his last stop, locks him up. Hopefully got her woed down, but Aaron Smith back to the point. Brian McCann all over the back bumper, a good entry. Brian McCann going for the lead here. Slow car is going to be a bit of a pick. That's Chris Wally on the top side. Down the backstretch, it saves Aaron Smith for now. Nowhere really for Wally to go. He was up the racetrack, but Brian McCann just not enough room to chance it to get through. Didn't want to shove it up the middle there to make the pass. He tucks back in behind, a car length and a half off the back bumper of Aaron Smith with 22 laps to go. We're going to stick with this battle here for at least a couple of laps. McCann looking to the high side out of 2. Smith slides up the racetrack. Big run for McCann. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. He is there. Now to the bottom, Brian McCann, the number 3 machine, pushing for all it's worth, knowing he doesn't need to save a drop of fuel from here on in. This is where the race begins. Smith to the high side. He maintains the top spot. McCann goes back to the top, trying to find a run out of turn number 2, trying to channel a little bit of Neil Quick's magic that he had down the backstretch earlier on in the race. Car length or 2 back to the 3 of McCann. On to turn number 4, some lap traffic coming into the mix. This might play a part. We're going to stay with the battle for now. McCann once again sliding up the racetrack. McDonald in the 16 going a lap down again. On to turn number 2. McCann slides up the racetrack, not able to build a run this time, just given that that upper lane was taken away. At the stripe, Aaron Smith maintains the position, 2/10 back to Brian McCann. McCann drives it way deep, gains half a tenth, but gives it up in the middle of the corner. Let's see if he can run it to the high side and build a run. Smith slides up the racetrack, dumping some air away from the nose of the 3. As this battle continues, I don't know if Brian's going to have enough to make this move. Got to get one more break out of the way, folks, but it's going to be a side-by-side break. Don't go away. You can watch every bit of this. We won't be gone long. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, 13 laps to go. Aaron Smith with the race lead, and he's put a second and a quarter on Brian McCann as he begins to check out. I don't know if Brian just burned up his stuff trying to make that pass, but it doesn't appear that he's going to be able to close the gap here. Now a caution. Whew, caution would change everything. Of course, I doubt anybody's got any tires left with 2 sets to work with, so it's just going to come down to who's got the pace, and right now it's Aaron Smith. Kevin McCann running in P3. Garrett Johnston always back. Johnston always back in P4. Ryan Honeycutt up into the top 5. Real quick though, still having a solid afternoon. Up into that 6th position, started 13th today. Real quick, let's take a look here at the top 12, the lead lap cars. Aaron Smith, of course, your race leader. Brian McCann running in P2. Kevin McCann in the 3rd spot. Garrett Johnston, we already kind of talked about those guys, but in the 5th spot, Ryan Honeycutt. Neil Quick in P6. Jaden Hopp had some time out front. Again, started this race just a tough break. Contact early with McDonald. That first 100 feet ends up in the infield grass. Still running within the top 10. A solid recovery for Jaden Hopp. John Osborne running in the 8th spot. Biggest mover so far. He's up 13 positions on the day. Timmy Schofield running in 9th. Jeff No in the 10th spot. Jason Nile just running 11th. Rick Kelly is 12th. Right now, currently 10 cars on the lead lap. Nile just the first one a lap down. If we get the caution here, he would get that lucky dog. Be able to come back around, put himself back on the lead lap. But man, Aaron Smith just running away with this. 2.7 seconds, the advantage over Brian McCann. If anybody does not want to see a yellow, it's the driver of that number 70 machine. Oh, we got somebody loose in the dog leg. Didn't catch who that was. I want to say it was the 55 machine, but I may be mistaken. In fact, it very well could have been. I'm not 100% sure. He is actually out in front of Aaron Smith. Jeff Nell running in the 10th spot. Last car on the lead lap, but for how long? With 7 laps to go, Aaron Smith closing in. Dominant performance here this afternoon. Brian McCann led some laps in the early stages. Through the cycle of green flag stops, again, Aaron Smith came down at lap 95. He was one of the latest to hit pit road for that final set of tires. Still hanging on to P3 here. No real pressure out the back. John Osborne solidly in the top 10 still in the 8th position. The league has a hard charger award. John Osborne certainly going to get it. Started 21st here tonight, up into the 8th spot. Aaron Smith putting the 55 of Jeff No a lap down, so leaves us with 9 cars on the lead lap. Four laps to go from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Aaron Smith, he's got to keep running it here. Hope there's no caution for him. 4.5 seconds the advantage over the 3 of Brian McCann. And he will be looking at 2 wins in a row. Jaden Hopp, again, still having a strong afternoon in the 7th position. Just makes you wonder what could have been if he didn't have that first lap incident. And he started in the top 5. He currently runs 7th. Neil Quick hanging on to P6, at least for the time being. He's got the 82 of Carnathan closing in, but he is not a lead lap driver. Two laps to go for Aaron Smith. Seems like a Sunday drive, 5.3 seconds out in front of two very fast brothers, McCann. How he does it, I just don't know. White flag in the air, final time around for the 70 of Aaron Smith. Wasn't able to take top honors in qualifying, but man, he is on a charge to take top honors in the race. Down the back straightaway for the final time here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Aaron Smith, 2 more corners to go, and he'll be looking at a checkered flag here from Atlanta Motor Speedway in race number 2. Aaron Smith out of turn 4. Barney waving the checkered flag. Win goes to Aaron Smith. Second is Brian McCann. Third, Kevin McCann. Garrett Johnston's 4th. 5th goes to Ryan Honeycutt. It's a good race. A lot of strategy involved. These guys were saving fuel almost from the word go. Got to take care of those tires, but man, Aaron Smith able to take care of them all the way to the finish. Plenty left over for the burnouts. Beautiful burnout. He's going to need a couple of Dramamine after that one. That's going to wrap it up. Aaron Smith parks it here on the front straightaway. We're going to jump out and get our last break out of the way. Have our top 3 finishers, Aaron Smith, Brian, and Kevin McCann, in the broadcast booth after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Racewear, your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the conclusion of race number 2 from Atlanta for the IROC Challenge Series. It's in the books. Aaron Smith is your race winner, 2 in a row for the driver of the number 70. We'll pull him up into the broadcast booth. Aaron Smith, it's Steve in the HBR TV, IROC TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I've got you.
Aaron, congratulations, man. Another solid race win, 2 in a row here at Atlanta. You won last week. You win it again tonight. In this place, we talked about it early in the open. Fuel strategy, tire strategy, everything needed to be considered. You did a great job with that tonight. Even in fuel strategy and tire save mode, you were still gaining ground on these guys. How do you do it?
I'm not sure. I mean, everything worked out in my favor tonight. Like, you couldn't ask for a much better race. I love how we only have those 2 sets to work with. I wasn't expecting to race on the Texas setup as opposed to the Atlanta setup that I took a few laps on today earlier, but felt great from start to finish of the run. It was plenty loose, but running on the bottom there certainly helped those right side tires out a bunch. But it's a great race. I'm looking forward to next week.
So we talked about that actually earlier on in the broadcast, how they are running the Texas setup versus Atlanta Motor Speedway. You said you ran some laps on the Atlanta setup. How did it differ from the Texas set?
It wasn't all that different, honestly. I wasn't sure if I was on the Atlanta, like the new Atlanta setup or the old Atlanta setup, but the overall feel was just about the same. The Texas setup did bog down just a little bit more on the right sides, but it didn't make that much of a difference over the course of the long run, but still made for some pretty racy setups.
Well, it's fun to watch you and Brian McCann battling it out for position there with the closing laps. But you eventually stretched it out. I think you ended up with a 5, maybe 6.2 second advantage at the stripe, man. What? I know you say you don't know, but you got to know. What's the secret?
Well, honestly, if you just stick to the bottom lane with this tire model, you'll probably be good for the rest of the run. Like, if you just hang out for the first half of it, you're probably going to be a few seconds ahead of the rest of the field by the end of it. But I got pretty lucky there. I didn't think I'd be able to get that good of a lead coming out of the pits. I waited an extra lap to go in instead of the just taking the 1 lap that I did before in the first run, but I was able to just get out ahead of Brian and start pulling away.
With that said, we go to another tire track next week, the Lady in Black, Darlington. How do you feel about your chances out there? Obviously a little bit more narrow of a racetrack. You're going to be right up against the wall a lot of the afternoon. How do you feel about your chances?
Not feeling too great racing at Darlington. I've never been a fan of the racing at the track. It's always fun to watch the races there, but to run cars like these there, it'll be pretty difficult, but hopefully I'll be able to come back here and talk to you next week.
Well, we certainly kind of expect to see here at least within that top 3, and maybe shoot for a 3 in a row victory celebration out at Darlington. But either way, Aaron, congratulations on the win here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at the IROC Challenge for putting this show on and having me for another great season. I'd like to thank you for broadcasting, all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it at Darlington.
Thanks for talking to us, Aaron. Good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
Aaron Smith, your race winner here at Atlanta. 2 in a row for the driver of the number 70. We're going to talk to runner-up Brian McCann next. Pull him up into the broadcast booth. Driver of the number 3, Spartan Logistics Management Chevrolet. Brian McCann and Steve in the booth. You got us?
Hey, I do.
Brian, congratulations, man. Another runner-up finish. Not so much this consistency as far as runner-up finishes go. It's only the second race of the season, but man, you put this thing on the pole early on. You ran away from Aaron Smith in the early stages of the race. What was the difference maker here at the end of this one tonight?
When we came out of the after the stage,
I was saving a little bit, and I let too many cars around me, and then I was afraid, everybody's racing close. I didn't want to get a damaged car, so I just kind of dropped back, and that put a big gap between me, Kevin, and Aaron. So we went in and pitted under the green flag, and I came out and ran Kevin and Aaron down, and still had good tire after that. So I was like, okay, so I know what I need to do now. Well, the last pit stop, I come out and forgot to turn my brake bias back down because I was jacked it up to go into the pits, forgot to turn it down, and went out and was racing Aaron hard and just burned my right front up like nobody's business. And then I was done after that. So Aaron just walked away with it, and then I was just focused on Kevin, trying not to let him catch up. So that's how my race was.
Well, it was still a solid run, and we talked to Aaron about it. It was fun to watch you guys battle it out there for a little bit. Walk us through that one opportunity that you had to the high side. I guess you could say it was the high side, but Chris Wally really had the high side, a lap car at the time. Did you think about kind of making it 3 wide there and going up the middle? I mean, you backed out of it, but was there a chance there you could have gotten around the 70?
Oh yeah, we were going up the middle, and then I don't know if Wally, I saw something I didn't like and backed out at the very last second, so I don't quite remember. But yeah, we were definitely going to race that because that's what I wanted. I wanted the outside, and if I had my brake bias right, I think I could have got around Aaron on the outside at least, but then it would have been a blocking game, so who knows.
Well, sometimes it's the smart decisions that we make as race drivers that give us, a second place finish. But those second place finishes, they kind of come in handy if you start looking at the end of the season, where if you made that aggressive move, you could have finished 20th. Who knows? But either way, you bring it home here in the runner-up. Congratulations, man. We roll into Darlington next week, the Lady in Black. How do you feel about your chances there? Aaron didn't seem too confident about it.
Darlington's by far my favorite track, so yeah, I love it. I think I've never drove this car there, so that's going to be an experiment, but all the other cars I've driven there, I love it. I mean, typically pretty fast, can stay off the wall, then that's the big ticket at Darlington, right? So yeah, I look forward to next week.
Confident Brian McCann rolling into Darlington next week. Congratulations again on P2 here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, my wife, my family, everybody watching tonight, you guys for putting the broadcast on, race control, race and league admins, and man, our sponsors for helping us put this on.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, Brian. Certainly wish you the best of luck next week.
Thank you.
It's Brian McCann, your runner-up here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Last but not least, we're going to pull brother Kevin McCann up into the broadcast booth and get a word with the driver of the number 33 machine, Kevin McCann, at Steve in the HBR TV booth. First of all, happy belated birthday, and you got a copy.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Congratulations on a P3 finish here tonight. Not super exciting, but you started third, you finished third. I mean, it's a respectable position. Was there anything you could have done to catch your brother or even Aaron Smith to close this one out?
Nothing on Aaron. I knew pretty early on that I was racing for second place tonight. I just made an unfortunate mistake on that last green flag pit stop and slid too far forward in my box. So that lost me about a second and a half there to my brother. Otherwise, I think we were pretty equal on speed, and it was going to be a tight one. But that mistake just put me that far behind and never could make it up.
Really would have been an interesting race to call, at least for that second position. If you lost that much time in the pits, the margin between you two at the finish was about 6.5 tenths or so. So it would have been an interesting conversation piece for sure, but it is what it is. You still come home in P3. Next week, a change of venue. We go out to Darlington Raceway, of course, a track that tire strategy is going to come into play. Of course, I'm sure fuel will also come into play. How do you feel about your odds next week?
Pretty good, but you just never know with Darlington. It can all go wrong really quickly on you. So, me and my brother were, it's funny, we were talking, we're like, it can't get any worse than tonight, right? Because, I mean, this track was just brutal. But Darlington's brutal on the tires as well. Haven't taken a look at the fuel and tire situation for next week, but if it's anything like this week, we're gonna have our hands full. Tonight was a night of strategy, and if that's the thing for this season, coupled with a car that's really difficult to drive, it's the best of the best is gonna win.
Well, we certainly look forward to it. It's been great to start the season already. A couple of races in. Kevin, congratulations on P3. We certainly wish you the best of luck next week, man. But who do you want to shout out to before we let you get out of here?
Yeah, just shout out to guys that put on the league, Wally and everybody, and thank you for doing the broadcast again.
All right, Kevin, thanks for talking to us, man. We'll chat next week, I think.
Yep, see ya.
Kevin McCann, your third place finisher here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I guess you could say it's kind of mixed emotions about Darlington Raceway next week. Aaron Smith not super confident. Brian McCann really excited for it. It's one of his favorite places, though admittedly not having run it in the Gen 4 Cup car. We'll see how that pans out next week. And Kevin McCann, kind of a balance between the two. So looking forward to it for certain. Maybe we have a surprise contender within that top three as well. But I tell you, those McCann brothers and Aaron Smith alike, certainly going to be hard to guard here as the season continues on. But with that, let's take a look at our official race results. Can we talk to our top three? Aaron Smith, Brian McCann, Kevin McCann. Fourth place finisher was Garrett Johnston. Ryan Honeycutt finishes in the fifth position. Neil Quick, a solid run, finishes P6. Jaden Hopp, a great recovery, man. Struggles early on. Got that thing into the grass after the 16 of McDonald. Had a problem on the start. Sent both drivers off the racetrack. They managed to stay on the lead lap. At least Hopp was able to lead some laps with some strategy. Finishes P7. A great run for the four. John Osborne, a good follow-up to his top three last week. He finishes 8th. Timmy Schofield was 9th. 10th goes to Jeff No. Jason Nilgis is 11th. Rick Kelly finishes 12th. Adam Johnson was 13th. Evan Konop was 14th. Kyle Pendergraph was 15th. Doug Wysocki finishes in the 16th spot. 17th went to Chris Wally. Josh Braley takes home the 18th position. 19th goes to Mike McDonald, involved in that first lap incident. Trevor Quick was 20th. Larry Bruner, 21st. Matt Kopp, 22nd. Stan Carnathan was 23rd. Josh Funkhauser was 24th. Cook Quick rounds out the field, finishes 25th. 37 laps down. Thank you guys all for tuning in here at HBR TV/IROC TV. Of course, we're broadcasting to multiple platforms here tonight. Apologies for loss of stream early on in the race, effectively right at lap 1, of course. Without fail, that's the way it goes sometimes. But hopefully we can get that rectified as the season continues on. I don't know. It is what it is. We'll have to dig deep into it. Hopefully we can get a solution for it, but we'll go on from there. If you guys haven't already done so, check us out, hbrtv1.com. We usually put up some post-race pictures. You can also find the live typically there on occasion. We try to get it up there for every single race. It doesn't always happen, but nevertheless, it'll get you to the channel where you, of course, can find us here at youtube.com/@HBR TV1. Give us a like, a follow, a share, and subscribe. We just recently went over 600 subscribers here at HBR TV. Certainly appreciate that. I think we're sitting on 603 here, so it's going to be a long ride to 700, but fingers crossed. I hope we'll get there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Congratulations to Aaron Smith on 2 wins in a row. We'll see you guys next week at Darlington. Have a good night.